Shalom and good day all, this is Tehillim29 back again for manga I have recently read through, and this manga has been read through between February into April of 2025, and as you can see here I have quite a number of titles. Of course, things have been a little bit delayed this month because of just being a little bit busy in other areas in my life, and therefore it's sort of like caused a bit of a delay. But as you can see here, I've been catching up with some Tokyo Revengers, and I must admit I'm actually quite surprised for volume 21, especially because of Takamichi. Of course, we move into up to 28. I already have the last volume. It's not here, but it is in the reading list. Of course, we've got the Tokyo Revengers, a letter from Keisuke Baji, which is surprisingly been a little bit better than the main Tokyo Revengers run. And of course, no funny, what's the word? Going to the past business. In fact, it's taking place at a certain time in history and just following these characters and what friends that they've made throughout their time. And I've enjoyed it a little bit more than the main Tokyo Revengers run. So credit where it's due. And of course, last but not least, we have some JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I know I've probably mentioned on some of the videos that might have gone up in the past that you might have seen that I've recently checked out JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and it's nice to finally make a start on the manga. But if it's one thing I'll give the manga, I do like the beginning of the manga compared to the beginning of the anime, because the beginning of the manga gives like a bit of a better prologue in relation to what leads up to the events of what happens in the story. And then when you move into the story, you get to see what happens. Of course, we move into battle tendency. Now, I'm not too sure how I'll be going with the next lot of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. As you can see here, I managed to finish all of battle tendency, which was really good to read through. And of course, returning to the day or the summer Hikaru died, and things have just gotten a little bit more, not just mysterious, but what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word right now, but now it's time for me to move into my ratings for the volumes. So for the first two omnibuses of the Tokyo Revengers that we see here, I'd like to give it a 7.5 to an 8 out of 10. Only because we finally got to see Takamichi finally pull a bloody punch. And, right, I'll give him credit for the character's perseverance for holding out for so long. But to finally pull a punch against someone that is a bit of an enemy in the story, yeah, I think you left it too long. And also, back to the writer, I think you left it too long. I think it should have been brought in a little bit earlier. So, moving into the last two omnibuses that I have here, as things start to heat up within the story, as we start to draw towards the end, I do give it an 8 out of 10. I just hope when it finishes that it will either stay on the 8, maybe even move to an 8.5, but it could also drop to a 6 to a 7 in there, depending on how good the ending is. Now, when it comes to the Tokyo Revengers, a letter from Keisuke Baji, Right out the gate, 8 out of 10. I enjoyed it more than what I actually read of the Tokyo Revengers, like the main Tokyo Revengers. Moving into the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure for the first part. Really enjoyed the art in this along with the story. But there is definitely a slight comparison between the anime as well as the manga. Like I brought up before, I actually enjoyed a manga opening compared to the anime opening, or the anime prologue. So for that, as we move into, say, the story around Jonathan Joestar, and also all the friends that he makes up, meets along the way, to learning Hamon, to Dio becoming a vampire, and the Stone Mask and its role. For that, I give it a 7.5 out of 10, as I think that's like a really good beginning for in the reading of this series, and I hope I enjoy more of this series. Moving into JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the second part, Battle Tendency, as we get to follow Joseph Joestar, to which, of course, we have the characters learn Hamon in both. I do like the idea of the Pillarmen in this, and it would be nice to sort of like see the Pillarmen or like some other Pillarmen return later in the series. Now, whether that actually happens or not in the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, I'm going to be learning about that and finding out along the way. Yes, I know that there's a number of YouTube channels as well that talk about it, but it would be nice to see like a bit of an extension on the Pillarmen. Like, were they just in one place in the world, or did they happen to expand to other locations around the world? And for this, I give it an 8 out of 10. And last but not least, moving into the summer Hikaru died. Really enjoyed reading through the beginning of this. As we move into this volume, things take a bit of a different turn, at which we get to see something happen to the Hikaru that has somehow been revived. But also in the story, we might learn that there's something supernatural happening in regards to one of the locations that makes something on a bit of a map look like a human body, or look like a person, like around the area that they live in. And I'm wondering if that might also have a bit of a connection between, because there's also talk of maybe a deity of sorts that might be connected to the area, and maybe that deity or entity has connected itself to this person that we meet as Hikaru in the story. And of course, I don't want to spill the beans as to what happens to Hikaru at the end of this. You're gonna have to read it for yourself. So until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day.